This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. A replacement low-cost abortion clinic will start taking referrals on Monday after almost a year of uncertainty. The service will be based in Hobart, with the first procedures taking place later this month.
This was once Tasmania's low-cost abortion clinic, closed now for almost a year. But after a long wait, its replacement finally announced today.
We're just so pleased that it's going to be simple and straightforward. There's just a phone number that they can ring. It's a high quality and well-respected provider, so it's the kind of quality health service that women deserve.
The service to start taking referrals from Monday. Melbourne-based company Hampton Park Women's Healthcare to perform procedures at the fortnightly clinic from November 28. Patients able to book an appointment directly or through a doctor. The health department saying in a statement referrals could be taken throughout the week as with any specialised service, and the government was committed to the service remaining affordable. The standard fee will be $475, but some say it's still too much.
Cost can't be a barrier to essential health services, and this is a conversation that we'll be taking up again with the government.
The exact location of the service will be kept a secret for privacy reasons, but it will be located somewhere here in Hobart. There have long been calls for the service to be offered across the state in our public hospitals so women can access it easier.
There's not a huge demand for this service, that it is a legal procedure, that it needs to be provided in an accessible and affordable way in order for it to be safe and in order for women in Tasmania to be safe.
The news comes after significant delay, the clinic originally due to open in October.
Certainly that was our preference. A time frame was set and provided to government, but the sooner the better, and this is a positive step forward.
Contact information is on the Health Department website. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
It's the industrial dispute which appears to have no end in sight. The state government today slamming the Australian Education Union for blocking the views of Tasmanian teachers after its executive board chose not to take the government's latest deal to its broader members. The AEU promptly hit back, saying that's a false claim and labelled the deal as poor.
The man with the money wasted no time in making his reaction to the AEU's latest rejection felt.
There's been no formal consultation across the broad suite of teachers. They didn't put out the government's offer widely to every single teacher. They haven't asked teachers to vote on the government's offer. What they have done by 5 o'clock yesterday is rejected an offer and instead determined that they will continue to work on closing schools and disrupting parents and children.
But the AEU says that's false and the Treasurer is out of touch.
Absolutely not true. He just doesn't understand our union processes and who actually makes the decisions on behalf of our members.
The union also standing firmly by its decision to continue with its work bans and stop work action scheduled for the 27th and 28th of this month.
We took the offer to our executive members, who are all full-time educators from the membership, who made a decision not to take the offer because it was so poor, out to the broader membership.
Out and about, spruiking the government's latest schooling results today, the Education Minister says he thinks the unchanged pay rise offer, with the addition of 95 new specialist teachers, would address the majority of the 5,600 union members' workload concerns.
What the union bosses need to do is stop blocking the views of teachers and consult with teachers on the very, very good offer that's on the table.
But with the AEU not budging and the state government also sticking to its guns, the only thing seemingly certain right now is that the stalemate will continue and could do so for some time. Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
An application for the redevelopment of Devonport's waterfront parkland area has been lodged by the City's Council. The proposed Living City development includes an elevated pathway and 9-metre high viewing platform, as well as a children's play area, rotunda, amphitheatre and stage. Earlier this month, Fairbrother lodged a separate application for a hotel and apartment complex to be built adjacent to the parkland. The two applications follow the completion of Living city's $71 million Stage 1, which included the Paranapple Centre, formally opened last month. If all goes to plan, the waterfront transformation would start early next year and be completed by the end of 2020. For the next 3 months, Hobart will be home to a massive 100-metre-long oil rig while it undergoes repairs. The Ocean Monarch drilling platform sits off the coast of South Arm and is now an unavoidable sight on the River Derwent. Tasmanian marine business Taylor Brothers won the major contract to undertake standard maintenance on the structure as it takes a break from drilling in Bass Strait. The rig will not do any exploratory work or drilling while in the river. Prospect High Year 10 students say they're excited to be able to do Years 11 and 12 at their current school under the government's Extending High Schools program. The high school is one of 5 announced by the government today, opting to offer the extra years in 2019.
It's actually been pretty helpful because, you know, I've thought about Launceston College, but I figured, you know, they've got mass numbers, but here, you know, it's an odd 20 here, so you have more one-on-one time with teachers, and yeah, it seemed like a pretty convenient option.
I've decided because it's an environment that I'm used to, and with Prospect, I can just get straight into work rather than like looking around and finding new friends, so I can just get straight into it.
The state government says the rate of students obtaining a TCE score has risen by 10%, with retention rates also increasing by 4% in the last 4 years. 38 Tasmanian high schools have already made the move to offer Years 11 and 12, with the remainder on track to do so by 2022. 4 women have taken out the Tasmanian Australian of the Year categories for 2019. From an advocate for teenage parents to a cookbook author, the winners will now represent us at the National Awards next year.
A proud moment they'll never forget. Tasmanian women gracing the stage at Government House this afternoon, accepting their awards for their contributions to the community. Bernadette Black taking out the top prize for her life's work in supporting over 8,000 teenage parents every year.
We build a village of support and acceptance around every teenage parent in Australia. I had my son Damien when I was 16, and it was a tough journey at times, and I looked for something like Brave Foundation and couldn't find it.
Tasmania's Senior Australian of the Year named as Sally Wise from Molesworth. The 67-year-old author recognised for her community cooking programs.
Teaching people cooking with good, basic, simple, easy to follow recipes that can affect the way people prepare food in their household and the fact that they do prepare food in their households.
Representing the younger generation, 29-year-old Assistant Principal Kirby Medcraft, now holding the title of Tasmanian Young Australian of the Year. Her Bedtime Stories program said to have inspired more than 200 parents to read to their children.
A large part is working with families to build connections between school and families and to equip parents with the skills to be equal partners in their child's learning.
And the Local Hero Award proudly accepted by volunteer and founder of Bridie's Blossoms, Vicky Purnell, making outfits for stillborn babies and keepsakes for their families.
They have to have a few precious moments with it, and they have to live a lifelong of dreams in a few precious moments before they say their final goodbyes.
The 4 winners will represent our state at the National Awards in Canberra on Australia Day next year. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
The figure raised from this year's Relive the Rivalry charity football game has been revealed. $21,000 will be donated to Muscular Dystrophy Tasmania following last month's spectacle, which sees former legends lace up their boots for a one-off clash.
Prior to this event, a chocolate drive or a quiz night was their biggest fundraiser, so all of a sudden thousands of dollars are being poured in, and obviously we're making life a bit easier for those families dealing with this horrible disease.
Relive the Rivalry is now in its 7th year and will return in 2019. Launceston's annual Christmas in the City event is taking place this evening. The CBD is celebrating the launch of the festive season by lighting up the Christmas tree. Late night shopping, free children's activities and a special appearance by Santa will also take place. The Brisbane Street Mall event runs until 9 o'clock tonight, and those attending are advised to rug up. And 2 Tasmanian charities have launched their Christmas appeals as demand continues to rise from families needing assistance and support. St Vincent de Paul says its demand for services has significantly increased in the last 18 months.
Presents under the tree is a sight many can't look forward to this Christmas.
There are a number of Tasmanians out there that may not be participating in this joy and happiness that this time of the year brings about.
St Vinny's says over the last 18 months, cost of living has risen so much, it's led to a 40% increase in demand.
People that would have lived on the cusp of in between poverty and non-poverty have now fallen through the cracks.
It's now preparing to support more than 4,000 Tasmanian families in the coming weeks, calling for donations of cash or goods to help brighten up someone else's Christmas.
Food, canned food, is very welcome, and gifts for mums and dads. Sometimes we get toys and gifts for the children, but the mum and dad miss out and there's nothing under the tree for them.
The Smith family also launching its Christmas appeal. The organisation offers various programs to support disadvantaged young people.
A lot of the programs that we work with either help children catch up and stay sort of at a top, a good level, or they help them actually get to school.
Talia and Dakota already benefiting from a program to assist with their transition into high school.
I can go to sleep at night without worrying about high school and not stressing over everything about it.
Tasmanians are really generous people. We know that Tasmanians volunteer more than any other state, and Tasmanians give more per capita than any other state to good causes.
To donate to either cause, visit their websites. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A couple of Hobartians are growing their moustaches and encouraging men to get chatting with their mates outdoors. They've created special fishing lures, with all proceeds to go towards Movember for men's health.
Mates out on a fishing trip, casting off their lines. This recreational fisher has had some luck.
I'm pretty sure I've got a Aussie salmon.
Using a unique moustache-laden lure, handmade here in Hobart for Movember.
It took a while to come up with the idea, but it ended up being the simple idea of just creating a lure that people buy, and by buying it they make a donation to Movember. But more importantly, I encourage them to go and use it and get out and go fishing and clear their head.
The fundraising initiative aimed at tackling issues such as male suicide and prostate cancer, encouraging friends to start the conversation.
6 men die from suicide every day in Australia, and that's a significant amount. It's the biggest killer of men aged 15 to 45, and I think we really need to raise more awareness of that.
Get outside, sort of have a great time, perhaps take the time to discuss a few issues. And then follow up after that.
Oh, it's great. People have really embraced this project. We've had some great feedback, and we've had a few personal messages that people have suffered from depression and that fish, and this project means a lot to them. Yeah.
The project has raised nearly $3,500. If you or anyone needs help, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
Fans of the iconic rock band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, can rejoice with the band kicking off its national tour in Hobart in February. The Rockers haven't toured Australia for more than 12 years, but say they're excited to visit Tasmania. The Chili Peppers will play at the Derwent Entertainment Centre on the 18th of February. Tickets go on sale at midday on the 26th of this month. Now look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has edged higher for a second straight session, helped by gains in heavyweight resources and financial stocks. The ASX 200 index rose 2.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72.72 US cents and 56.77 British pence.
New Zealander Michael Vink has clinched stage 2 of the Tour of Tasmania on what many considered to be the toughest day of the tour. Only a few strong climbers managed to break away from the peloton as the weather closed in on those tackling the steep road to Poatina.
Leaving Longford with 70 kilometres and a mountain ahead of them, it was on right from the start. Snaking through the flat plains, the peloton clung together, preserving strength as the daunting Poatina slope loomed near. Only Daniel Firmston from the TIS racing team was brave enough to make a brief break, but by Bracknell the peloton had drawn him back. The group navigating the narrow roads and corners as the rain clouds moved in. Then the gruelling 16-kilometre climb began. A four-man breakaway left it to the tough end of the race to make their attack, finally emerging over the central plateau.
Here they come, 4 riders, you can see the orange helmet there.
Before Michael Fink fired forward over the finish line. An unexpected win the Rabble Continental rider is sharing with his Tassie teammates.
You just don't know, and I was really lucky to have my teammate Ollie Martin there, and we just played a really good job with the two of us covering everything in the end. He did a bit of a lead out, and I launched a sprint with 200 to go and was lucky to have enough lift in the legs to take it.
It's the Kiwi's first taste of a Tasmanian victory on his visit to the state. And after securing stage 1 yesterday, Dylan Sunderland found himself keeping warm in the yellow jersey as the overall leader.
I was feeling pretty good, and I tried a few times early on the climb to try and get away solo, but it just wasn't working. I knew Michael Vink was a quick finisher, so I was trying everything I could to get away from him.
The day also saw the very first women's tour of Tasmania begin. Victorian Justine Barrow won today's inaugural stage. Stage 3 from Ulverston to Rihanna kicks off tomorrow. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Paceman Gurinder Sandhu was on the cusp of making his first-class debut after being named in Tasmania's 12-man squad ahead of tomorrow's Sheffield Shield clash against Victoria. Aussie captain Tim Payne has also been named in the squad. Tiger skipper George Bailey says he often calls on Payne to share ideas.
He's become a bit of an elder statesman in many respects in terms of the way that he wants the Australian team to play, and he's made that really clear, and that's come back into the Shield team as well.
The Tigers have a win, a draw and a loss from their first 3 matches.
Good evening. 19 degrees today for Hobart and Launceston. Burnie had a top of 18 and a little bit cooler in Devonport with 16. Around Tasmania, 20 was the state's top for Friendly Beaches and on Flinders Island. 19 degrees at Smithton, 17 for Fingal and Campania. Cressy, Scottsdale, St Helens, Grove and Strawn all 16. 15 the top for Low Head with 14 at Sheffield. Extensive high and low level cloud moving across the state today. Further out, and that cloud band over Tasmania extends to surrounding ocean. Low cloud over the New South Wales coastline, and thunderstorm and convective activity dominates the northern half of the country, spreading into WA, with high cloud moving across the central parts. Tomorrow shows low pressure troughs in inland areas and through the east and the west. The highest sits to the west of Tasmania, extending a ridge up the east coast. Southwest to southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots, reaching 25 about the south early, variable about the north with seas to 2 metres. Cloudy in Hobart tomorrow, 19 degrees, 17 for Medina and Oatland, some early fog about there. 22 with some early fog in Launceston, 18 and sunny in Devonport, 15 for Lyweenia, frosty start expected. 19 and sunny in Burnie, 17 for Strawn and Marrawar, with 19 the top at St Helens, 18 for Swansea and Orford, cloudy conditions throughout. And the UV continues to be very high right around Tasmania. A fine and mostly sunny day expected for most centres on Sunday. Monday brings a fine day with just a few clouds about and light rain developing in the west on Tuesday, and that'll extend statewide a bit later on. Looking at your major centres for tomorrow, 28 degrees in Perth, sunny and 27 in Adelaide, 19 in Melbourne, 22 and showers for Canberra and Sydney, 29 in Brisbane, storms expected there, 32 and sunny in Cairns. And Joe, it's mostly cloudy conditions tonight, 13 in Hobart, 14 in Launceston and Devonport. Joe, check this out. My apron. You know how much I love a good Big Mac, but don't forget it's McHappy Day tomorrow. Go get a Big Mac to support Ronald McDonald House. Don't worry, people, I won't be cooking. You'll be safe. But Joe, I hear you'll be flipping some burgers.
Well, I'll be doing my best, Sam, that's for sure. A very important place, Ronald McDonald House, for so many Tasmanian families. Please support a great cause. That's all from the team for now. Good night.
Participants have completed over 7,000 hours of work experience, and 1/3 of participants have subsequently found.
On this day, the Australian Day of the Year.